Hey, what's up? It's Jax from Plastic Action, and you're listening to the world famous ToyPhotoCast. We are storytellers.
Luis Chavez is a toy photographer from Hayward, California. His professional work is automotive detailing. He loves 90s action movies, ones with Schwarzenegger or Stallone. He also loves RoboCop, The Lord of the Rings, and The Empire Strikes Back. His favorite foods are Hispanic and Italian, although he also says that you can't always go wrong with a fat, beefy burger. His hobbies are toy photography, sketching, crafting with his daughter, and playing sports, which is soccer. His favorite book, Darth Plagueis. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of ToyPhotoCast with scruffy looking photos, hosted by, inspired by Andre. I hope you enjoy it and have a great day. Peace.
Hey, what's up? This is Dwayne Shoots Toys, and you're listening to Toy Photocast. We are storytellers.
Welcome everybody to another episode of the Toy Photocast with the one, the only, scruffy looking photos. What's up, Luis?
What up, what up, what up?
Dude, I'm happy to finally have you on, man. I've been looking forward to this.
Likewise, bro. Likewise. It's been a hell of a couple of months. I've been on the back burner for a bit, but here I am, ready to serve you some patties. What's going on with you?
That's that good fire. That's that good fuel, right? Getting you motivated and just creatively driven, right?
Of course, all the time. You gotta stay positive, man. Even through death, through sadness that happens in life, you have to find a way to recover and life moves on, But
Amen,
it is what it is, brother. Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. So tell us about your name. How'd you come up with scruffy looking photos?
All right. So it comes from my favorite movie, Empire Strikes Back. I fucking love Star Wars. It's almost
Nice.
a freaking religion to me if it wasn't because I'm a Catholic, but I'm looking at my wife and my mom, make sure they're not gonna listen to this. But yeah, obviously the whole thing with Han Solo, scruffy looking nerve herder and all that. So I don't know. I think when you met me, I don't know. I think my Instagram account was Star Wars Toy Pics. I think that's what it was before.
Oh, when
And I don't
I met
know,
you with scruffy looking photos.
you met me up. Okay, yeah. So at that point, I was just I was collecting and taking photos with just Star Wars Black Series figures, and
Okay.
then slowly but surely started branching out to Marvel Legends, and I was like, well, this is not gonna work if I'm Star Wars Toy Pics and I'm taking photos of Deadpool over here, and I'm like, I don't know, So I had to change it. So I changed it, came up with scruffy looking photos. So I was like, that kind of clicks. At first I didn't really like it. I just thought it was like it was kind of goofy. But then, whatever. Everyone started calling me Scruffy, so I kind of whatever. That kind of sounds about right. So
No,
why
that
change
and that
what? Yeah, why change what works, right?
no, that makes sense. That makes sense. I mean, you want to keep something consistent, so convey, the point across to the anyone that's as a viewer or an artist that's looking at your account. And I get it. That's like, that's your thing. You kind of setting that name in the community, so that perfectly makes sense. But yeah, so like you a big Empire Strikes Back guy?
Yeah, man. Dude, that was my first Star Wars movie that I ever saw. It was in Mexico. Back in, I mean, like I said, I knew what Star Wars was, but I'd never seen the movies. Like when growing up, like I'm from a, sort of a lower middle class family, um, of Mexican American family, and my parents were always like busy. My dad was always working. My mom, just did what she could to take care of us and stuff. They gave us toys,
Right.
but it wasn't like, they never took us to the movies or got us the movies that we wanted to. My dad would always put us to watch Arnold Schwarzenegger movies or Sylvester Stallone. So it's like we couldn't ask, hey, let's change it up, let's bring Star Wars. My dad's not a fan of Star Wars, so he was just bringing all these other movies, you know. So, but yeah, watching Star Wars for the first time, it was just incredible. Like I still remember staying at home, in a rainy day in Mexico, and there wasn't much to do, so I started watching TV, and the first scene that I saw was with when Luke was in the Wampa cave, and he was upside down, and like the monster was coming. So it like immediately sucks you in. You're like, oh damn, this big gorilla monster thing. You know, when you're little, you're like, what is this thing? You know, you think it's like a big gorilla. But then you see the lightsaber, you see all that, and then it's just, I don't know, for something it just sucked me in, and just to see the whole movie through and through, like it was crazy. And seeing Han Solo being frozen in carbonite was something too that I'm like, what's happening? Like, who is this guy in black? Like, who, like Boba, like it was just, it's like, how do you say? It's like when you eat ice cream for the first time, you just remember, you're just like, man, this thing's really good, you know? Yeah. So
Yeah,
that's
there's something about that whole scene. It resonates. It's great, especially from a kid. I remember that, and I have to share, like, I agree. That's my all-time favorite Star Wars movie. Like nothing can take that from me. And that's one of the strongest things that I connected with a kid as well when it came to Star Wars. Like I always remember, like it's always so impactful, the scene when they pull out the lightsaber and they cut into the tauntaun.
Yeah, right. Did you see the guts pull out and oh, I'm gonna prepare for this. You know what I
Can
mean?
smell what's going on in that scene, and like that always like sat with me. But the whole scene with Luke in the cave and the ice everywhere, like you can feel how frigid it is and how cold it must be. And then you see the Wampa come up, like, dude, it's one of those things that it felt very 80s. I can get it because all practical and hairy monster. But what was really cool is that like it was different. Like you wasn't watching Harry and Henderson's. You was watching like something
Yeah.
different here. And that's one thing I share too. Like that's a big memorable scene out of that whole movie. But like that movie, you could probably go a whole hour talking about it at least. It's such a good movie.
Yeah, yeah. You know what I feel like helps Star Wars so much is John Williams' score. I fucking love the fucking score, bro. Like, sorry,
All
I'm
day.
cussing, but I'm a sucker for soundtracks. I love hearing like Star Wars scores, and I don't know, man. That guy's just incredible. He even made the sequels look good. You know what I mean? Like that's just how good he is. Like, I mean, I'm not a fan of the sequels. If people are, that's fine. But I would listen to the soundtrack of the sequels just because some of those songs are actually nice. That's probably the only good thing I like about the sequels. But yeah, man, yeah, like this, the mood, the tempo, the atmosphere with music. It's well done. It's memorable. That's what it is, you know.
Well, I'll say this. I mean, a lot of people don't realize how many movies John Williams was involved in. If you just, I mean, you can go and Google them, but like you'll then
Yeah.
sit back and go, oh, that makes sense why that I remember that movie or why I love that movie. It wasn't just about the visual direction or the cinematography, it was the musical score. And I mean, come on, man. You probably name it, and the dude was involved or did the music in there. And I know he's also good friends with oh man, I'm just draw a blank. Hans Zimmer. Hans Zimmer. Hans Zimmer.
Oh yeah. Okay. Okay.
Well, they're supposed to be
The
best
Dark
friends,
Knight. Yep.
good friends. And so I thought that was brilliant because I'm a huge Hans Zimmer fan. Like, if you ever watched the movie
Yeah.
Interstellar, the Christopher Nolan movie Interstellar, if
Yeah,
you
I
ever seen
did. I
that,
did.
yeah, dude, it's all Hans Zimmer. The whole Nolan Batman trilogy, Hans Zimmer. So the
Yes.
guy is
I love
he's
his I love the tension in his music. The tension, bro. Like, all this, yeah, he's perfect for those types of movies, man.
so he's another one. If you ever look into Hans Zimmer musical scores, you'll also be pleasantly surprised on what he was involved in. But yeah, music plays a big part, and that kind of brings me up to the next thing. I want to ask you, what got you into toy photography? Was it I mean, was you inspired by music to translate it into the imagery? Was it movies? Was it an artist or a movie director, or was there something a big event in your life? But what was it that got you into toy photography?
All right. So that's an interesting question because I've thought about it myself, and it's not really that. It's more well, there's a lot of things that go into play. Music influence my photography now. Like, well, before we get to that, let me just answer the question before I answer your question with another
Sure,
answer.
sure.
So it I started collecting Lego sets back when I was like in high school, and then I just kind of kept them and stuff, Star Wars stuff. So I didn't really do much with it. I was still a Star Wars fan, so and I mean, I don't know how it was with you, man, but like it's not that I was ashamed of it or whatever. I just like things like that I would always keep to myself because I didn't want my schoolmates would think of me. Like it's always that thing back in your mind when you're young. You know what I mean? And like you're just
Stigma. Yeah, man.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, you're going to school and you don't want people to find out that you're collecting Legos. Like it's people make fun of you and shit. So um I kept all that to myself. So I didn't really want to stand out, make any anything like that. I didn't really think about toy photography at that point. And then I started watching a YouTuber called Solid Brick Studios. I don't know if you heard of him. David Hall. He's a big YouTuber in Lego and stuff. So he
I
would
didn't
make
know that.
yeah, he would make these dude, you gotta look him up, man. He makes these amazing mocks of Lego and like he creates like the battlefield uh of like Star Wars event or something. So for instance, the one that I saw was he recreated the Kashyyyk battle from Revenge of the Sith with like Kashyyyk troopers and the battle droids and like dude, it was bananas. It was crazy. Like I was like, man, this guy, like that's when I really got sucked in. And then he started like showing me the photos that he was taking. I was like, hey man, I could do this too with my Lego sets. So
Well, you did some pretty cool stuff in your gallery. Like I remember seeing those. I was like, I saw, and it seems like you just, I mean, I don't want to say overnight, but like there was a transition period. You went from taking photos of your Star Wars Legos and setups in the collection, and you just like slowly jumped into action figures. But I noticed the transition began with Star Wars Black Series figures.
yeah. So what do I don't know something you might understand about Legos is that Lego sets are expensive. They're very expensive. Like
Oh yeah.
there's the ones that are like $20, that's fine. But then the really nice ones that you want that everyone wants are like $100, like 80. Like I got lucky with some of the good sets that I had because I found a friend on Craigslist that was selling them to me for half off. So some of the
Oh
stuff
wow.
that I have, like yeah, I really got a really good deal on them. So um and essentially that's why I stopped collecting Lego, and that's why I stopped taking photos. Obviously, I still have some sets that I'm actually thinking of kind of like bringing it back a little bit. So like I have the gunship, so the gunship's pretty cool. From Attack of the Clones. So fill it up
Yeah.
with stormtroopers. I mean, the clone troopers, it would look really nice. Take some photos with some nice lighting.
I,
But yeah, like uh, I just started branching out to Black Series. Now, dude, for the life of me, ever since we started talking about making this thing happen, the podcast, I've been trying to remember who was the person that I saw that took this photo of a stormtrooper. He weathered up the stormtrooper, and I saw the picture. It was a black and white picture of a stormtrooper. Bro, I think it was a photographer from Texas, a really big one. I don't know how the heck he popped into my feed, but he did. And ever since then, I was like, man, I gotta get into this. This is really cool. So I started buying. I bought my first Black Series was a loose Stormtrooper from Comics and Figure Addicts, and then I bought my official carded figure was Jango Fett. That was my first official Black Series, and then it all came from this. So that's kind of my initial assumption that it sucks that I can't give this dude credit because he deserves it. His photo was really cool, and he's the one that actually got me into the whole the whole toy photography thing on my end. It's been a minute, man. It's been about 3 years, I think, 3 years, something like that.
the weathered stormtrooper that you're speaking about, it was, if I'm not mistaken, it was the Black Series, but the 3.75 scale, right? Or at least it appears like.
No, I'm pretty sure it was a 6-inch figure. It was probably the Sand Trooper, one of those. But it's kind of hard to tell because it was black and white. Like I,
Was it A underscore aesthetic one?
I don't know. I don't know. It was
Well, if anybody doesn't know who that is, his name is John, but his account is A underscore aesthetic one. This guy takes amazing photos. He actually also runs a podcast too, and he has amazing work. Does great stuff with pretty much anything remotely close to Batman or Batman. But he did do a photo recently of a stormtrooper, and it looks black and white, at least the tone. It looks very monochromatic, and
Mhm.
it's very close up, and he looks so weathered down. So I mean, this is the only one I know of recent that popped up. This was February 2nd when this was posted.
No,
So I'm
you're talking
wondering.
about. Yeah, you're talking about John. No, yeah, I follow John. John Aesthetic. Yeah, 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 I follow him. I thought you were talking about somebody else. But yeah, no, no. Oh, so sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I just wanted to make sure
Oh
that
no,
because
you're
if he's
okay,
gonna
you're
hear this,
okay.
like, hey, yeah, 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 go ahead.
'Cause that was the one that stood out with me that I saw show up in my feed. I was like, that was kind of amazing. But yeah, you going back into your Lego collection and bringing them back and using what you do now, especially your cyberpunk slash 80s neon style lighting with that, I think will look amazing, especially if you throw some atmosphere in there. It will look gorgeous. But yeah, I think, I don't think anyone would be against seeing Lego photos. I mean, we all like Legos.
At one point, right? At one point, we all like Legos.
Well,
I
well,
mean, right now having the two kids too. So I mean, now they got their big brick Lego things, and honestly, I can't wait for my 3-year-old to start playing with the little sets that I have. So it
right.
is what it is. Yeah.
But that's cool. So you got to a hobby. You was collecting Legos. I mean, I think we all kind of found something that was kind of our gateway into collecting. Like for me, having a son, it just snapped in my head going back, and I'm like, you know what? It'd be great when he's older. We can play together and have fun playing with these action figures that I remember I grew up with or I wanted. And that started with me looking into old Spawn figures and um, Transformers, Godzilla, the NECA stuff, Pacific Rim, and I actually got my son into those things. But that was kind of like the doorway that just busted off the hinges was that. And the Star Wars for me, what got me into the Black Series, no lie, was I didn't know about the Black Series at all. And I was at a friend's house, and his son, knew that I was like really into starting to collect toys and stuff. And the son was like, "Have you gone to Walgreens?" I was like, "Nah, I mean, other than for medicine, what for?" And he was like, "Well, they're in their toy aisle," which again, I didn't know Walgreens was, lit in that regard. But at the time, he was like, "Yeah, if you go to the toy aisle, they have this all white Boba Fett." I was like, "Really?"
Ooh, yeah, the
So I've never,
prototype. Yeah.
yeah, I had no idea. I was like, really? He's like, yeah, if you're looking for Darth Vader, they got Darth Vader there too. I was like, I'll probably check it out. And right when we left that house, I was like, hey, babe, let's start out this Walgreens. I'm curious because I was already collecting figures. I was going down the list of things from my childhood. I was like, okay, and my son's gonna play with this and that and this, and we're gonna have fun, right? So I had it in my mind, I'm gonna go in there and check out this Boba Fett. Went into that toy aisle. Sure enough, I was like, Star Wars the Black Series. What is this? This is amazing. These things look straight out the movie. And I was
Oh.
like, and I remember at the time, I was like, Vader looks cool, but this white Boba Fett this is money right here. Like I'm all
Yeah.
for it. Let's do it. So I grabbed it, and I remember like a couple weeks later, I instantly regretted not getting uh the Darth Vader that was there. And that wave sold out fast, and you couldn't find them anywhere. So I couldn't find Vader, couldn't find another Boba Fett from my brother because he's a huge Boba Fett fan. And so I was like, I guess it is what it is. And that's what got me into going into Juan's at CFA and then hunting at Targets and Walgreens, and all of a sudden bringing me to Amazon trying to find these Black Series. And forget it, dude. The rest was history. And I just started getting Star Wars figures like crazy. But
Yeah. It's like rain. It's like it just never stops. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. But
Yeah.
I think one thing we could talk about too is like in a lot of the episodes is I believe a lot of people kind of either went head on into it or started with the Star Wars Black Series when they were taking these shots, and it's kind of hard not to. They look very cinematically accurate, but there's a movie realism that you see in these figures at a budget price that is really hard to pass up.
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely. Especially when you get them at retail price, the aftermarket, you think twice before you get yourself a figure. Like, I bet that white prototype Boba Fett is worth, it's worth its pretty penny now, probably around $50, I assume. But that's just the end game. But yeah, man, it's an incredible journey. It's you just keep getting all these. It's keep getting these figures, and then you don't really realize when you miss them. Like when you miss Darth Vader, you're like, God damn, I should have got that.
Yeah, that's we've all had that moment. We're passing the store,
Yeah.
I'll get it next time, and then you never see it again. Like that happened
Yeah.
to me with Darth Maul before they re-released them from the archive series. I mean, before that came out, I remember going to Juan's at CFA and seeing Bubba Fett, and I was like, $25, I'll come back, and never came, never, it was gone. He was sold out, never got him back, and they had, never had an announcement of re-releasing that line. I literally had to wait 4 years later to get the Darth Maul and Boba Fett. It was crazy. I was like,
Yeah.
man, I learned my lesson with some of this stuff. Like if I see it, probably worth getting it there. I'm in a different state of mind now with collecting, but that was something I learned. If it's something that you really like and the price is significantly low, I mean, what's it gonna hurt? You just sell it later if you don't want it, and Star Wars seems to hold the value pretty well. But man,
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you, so you said it wasn't really something that got you into it. It was more like you started with your collection with Legos and just taking pictures because of, what you also noticed with that artist on YouTube and what he was doing. So then I was going to ask you then, was there someone or something in your life that inspired you? So other than the artist that you find, well, I mean, was there maybe, a movie director, or was there another artist in the community, or was it just something, an event that occurred that you said, this is something I really like to do? Like, what was it like?
Well, I saw a lot of inspiration from the toy community. It's really absorbing on that matter. And when you want to get inspired to shoot, then you start reaching out to people, you start making friends. But movie wise, I think that when I go with my movie stuff, I'm very, like I said, very sucker for the 80s and 90s.
Right.
And like just watching those retro movies, like to me, one of my favorite movies to watch is Terminator, the first one.
Oh
Just
yeah.
Yeah, just the lighting, the atmosphere, just very. It's like it's even on the brightest of days, like when the Terminator kills the first Sarah Connor, like you can still tell like the sky's not as blue as you might think. It's kind of like grayish, kind of like symbolizing what's to come. I don't know, something
Yeah.
about the movie, the colors, just the atmosphere. It's really inviting, and I try to recreate a lot of that in my photos. Obviously, I go a lot for the cyberpunk, tech noir kind of style of
Right.
shooting. I use a lot of purples, a lot of reds and greens. It's like if I'm the Joker or something. But you know what I mean. But yeah, it's just it's all in the lighting. Um, but yeah, like just going for directiveness, I guess just the 80s movies that I'm really like sucked on. RoboCop is a really good one too. Um, I
Yes,
think that's
definitely.
yeah, I think that's pretty much it for inspiration on that end.
Well, and that's a great place to pull inspiration from. I mean, I can totally connect with you on that. That's part of the big things with me was, my collecting. A lot of it came from that. I mean, I grew up watching Terminator, Alien, Predator. I almost combined Terminator and Predator there for a second, but
Yeah,
I
I
watched
forgot to mention Aliens too. Aliens and Predator. Aliens. When I take my shots for Aliens, that's where I like go back on YouTube just to check the eerie, dark, luminous, and I'm like, man, this shot's too dark, but I think it's perfect for Aliens. But sorry, man, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I just wanted
no,
to bring that in.
no, go for it. I mean, what about aliens for you connected with you in a big way, and that kind of translates into your style? I mean, touch on that. Let's open up on that, because I mean, if anyone goes to the gallery, I mean, they got to go back and see what you did last year for Alien Day, and even after that, I mean, you work wonders with xenomorphs, yo. Like that was definitely one of the things, other than your movie realization figure photos you've done, but what you did with the xenomorphs, man, really told me play with purple and blue lighting. The way you did it, like,
Yeah.
just sold me on it. So what sold you on it about aliens and made you kind of just take the ball and run with it?
Okay, so for starters, Alien and Aliens, those movies are. You could say anything about Aliens 3 or Resurrection or whatever, but Aliens 1 and 2 have been my favorite horror movies. Like,
Word.
you could say Freddy Krueger, Jason, all that. Yeah, that's very, because I feel like I'm more into sci-fi. So to me, like going into space and just meeting the first encounter of aliens is something that you don't want to encounter, because it's something horrible that can kill you and can eradicate your entire race. It's
Yeah.
very daunting. It's scary, man. Like, and then you
Yeah.
meet, yeah, it's like the whole thing in space, no one can hear you scream, you know? So the
Yeah.
just how scary it would be to like lose, like being inside a ship, a very small ship, and like being hunted by something you don't even know what it is, or you know what I mean, how to kill it. Like, it's a scary thought. So when I saw those movies back in the 90s with my dad and stuff, which I don't know why the hell my dad would put these movies on, but it really just resonated with me and stuck with me. So I feel like there's a lot of that into my toy photography. I First off, before I start this conversation with this, I want to give a huge shout out to Scott Blind. He probably will be listening to this or not, but he was the one that started the whole Dark October thing. Um, and prior to that, 2 years ago, my photos were all right. You know what I mean? Like, they needed work, they needed something. And Scott Blind kept telling me, hey, we need to try. Why don't we try something for October, and maybe that can help you. We can try Dark October. I noticed that your photos are too light. They have, you could use a little lighting and you could use darker tempos. And I'm like, all right, cool, let's try that. So that's the reason why I have my Arnold Schwarzenegger Terminator Technor shot as my Instagram account, the picture, because that photo is the first photo that I took, that I posted, that changed everything for me. It really just took me, it just like, it basically elevated me to a whole different level. It's like I turned Super Saiyan for the first time. It felt good, you know. So
Dakota's gonna love you for that
that's
reference too, by the way. Dakota's gonna
right.
love you for that reference.
Really.
He
Yeah,
love,
so
dude. That's
uh,
anything Dragon Ball. That's he eats that up, man.
yeah. So dude, I feel so bad because I have a few SH figure art Dragon Ball figures, but I never shoot them, dude. I have Vegeta and Goku. So yeah, maybe Dakota will probably like, oh, never mind, all that hype, no, never mind. But yeah, dude, that month changed everything for me, and that's what helped me to, be more comfortable with dark lighting. Just kind of like, just go for it. You know what I mean? Do the dark eerie stuff, and it worked so well. And I thank him every day. I haven't spoken to Scott in a minute. I hope he's doing all right, but I thanked him. I thanked him for it. Because of him, the inspiration that he gave me to do this is what got me into the place that I'm at now. And yeah, recreating the 80s type of style for photo. It's very easy. It's just quick, easy setup, and I mean, you can't go wrong with it, because it is, the figures just lend themselves. All you do is playing and just manipulating the lighting. I mean, in my case, anyways, sometimes, some other artists like to do, like, action poses and things like that. I'm a fan of it, but I'm not really that much of a fan, because I feel like I get really frustrated really quickly when it comes to trying to pose my figures and wires and things. And if it doesn't work out, like, it's, trying to get that perfect photo, it's just really hard. But yeah, man, that's the plug on that, man. But yeah, it aliens, the lighting, the horror. Every time I'm taking these photos, I'm like remembering the movies and going back on YouTube and just checking out the scenes or something. Um, yeah, that's pretty
That's
much the whole alien thing.
That's one of the great things about this hobby and a lot of the artists is the deep connections, deep root connections they have with it. We're not simply just going, and I mean the action of can be simply buying a toy and bringing it home, but I like to believe, and at least this is the case for me, and it sounds like for you as well, and I know Scott would agree with this. And real quick, shout out to Scott Blind. I mean, the guy is such an essential member to this community, and he's a
Hell
beautiful person. I love that dude like a brother, and he's done so much for me as well. Like not just what you've done. I mean, Luis, you have again, you set the bar in a way when it came to the 80s tech noir, cyberpunk, neon colored lighting that I had to step it up. And Scott did the same for me with his strong depth of field and water drops in his shots. But then it turned out to be he's an incredible human being. And so shout out to Scott Blind for who he is, and we love that man, and anything he does to contribute to this community. I mean, we're all grateful for it. But I will say this, and he'll agree with it. A lot of us get these figures because of that strong connection from our childhood. And that's, especially once we got the ball rolling in our accounts, right? All the different types of photos we're taking, we're definitely going with that thing that speaks to us the deepest, right? And you can tell, like you're great with your collection and the things you shoot, without a doubt. But Luis, I noticed, man, when you shoot aliens, there you can tell you are in the zone. Like you love that shot, you love that figure, because there's something about those, especially Terminator, and you can see it. Like the one you did in February 4th, you posted, and it's that hard contrast lighting of the warm and cool on his body, and he's next to the motorcycle with the fence in the background. That shot right there is exactly a representation of just like the aliens you do, that you can tell that you enjoyed that shot and it's strong and you can feel it just by looking at it. It's crisp, the composition and lighting are gorgeous, and it's telling a story. At least the scene in the shot, like something's about to go down or something's going to happen, or you can sense it, whether it's tension or movement, or if it's just a drama altogether because you got the tone and the atmosphere. But you can see all those things and identify them without even using big words. You're like, man, that's just an amazing shot. So you can tell that you have that strong connection. And again, I love your work in the gallery. You can scroll for days and you got this amazing variety of stuff. But I can see when you shoot Terminator and Aliens, I can see how it resonates with you. It's you can sense the connection.
yeah, yeah. Deep connection, deep. It's so deep, bro, that when I was little, I remember this scene in Alien. Watching Alien was horrifying as it was. It was just one alien. But when I saw Aliens, dude, I can't remember. I was probably like 8, dude. I was probably 8 years old when I watched this movie for the first time. It gave me nightmares, man. It gave me nightmares. The aliens, like just a swarm of them. You're going for you're rooting for the Marines to win and shit. And you see all these Marines dying, and I remember waking up in the middle of the night, like scared, like, hey, there's freaking aliens in my closet, and there was under my bed. There's nothing, and now it's like it's something that I actually enjoy watching. It's just a phase, like when you think that you're scared of something or whatever, and then it just goes away. But growing up now, it's so deep and rooted. Like you have to be a hardcore fan to really buy these figures and going to town with them, just shooting them the appropriate way, and you do that too. You do that too. You have all these, incredible shots that you've taken, and I really love your lighting, man. I really do, and I try to resonate that. And it's funny you bring that Terminator shot because it is a lot of inspiration that comes from your shot. If you can tell from that shot, the lighting's coming from the back of the fence. There's a fence behind the motorcycle and the Terminator.
Right.
and
Right.
and the lighting, I don't know how you do it, but I always try to, like, I'm like, how the heck would Nick do this? Like, like, I always notice that your lighting comes from like behind him, and it just kind of gives it that glow. I also try that with the recent post that I've taken for the Predator shot from this past Wednesday, and also the Ermac shot. You can tell, like, the lighting, it's like hitting their back, but it also makes
Yeah.
them glow somehow. I don't know. It's freaking weird. You use atmosphere aerosol by any chance?
A little bit about that. I don't want to go too off detail and take away from you. Real quick, I did want to talk about that. What you achieve there and what helps it pop is that contrast lighting behind it. So you've got the dark, that dark cool tone, but then you have a light cool tone behind it. So it still creates some of a contrast that helps the figure pop what's in the foreground, which then in turn creates depth and three dimensions. So that's what helps you do that in that shot. You nailed that, man. That's amazing how you did that, and that's all light play. I am horrible at behind the scenes BTSs. If anyone doesn't know that by now, I really tried hard and I tried to make the time. I tried to make it a point that BTSs come first. It just, my life, my schedule's been so busy, always has been. If anyone's been following my story, go back and just look at my stuff and read my posts. But I struggled with anxiety and depression, and I just kind of ran with the hobby, and I kind of fell deep into the hobby and just grew in it and just started just anything I can pull from what I found inspiration as well, and just kind of ran with it. And the lighting like was just me playing around. I didn't have something to look at for reference that was from the community. Maybe I should have. Probably would have made my life a little bit easier, but a lot of my stuff actually came from movies. That's where a lot of my reference stuff came from.
Mhm.
When I was a kid, I used to watch a lot of the making ofs and watch the studio and what they do with lighting, and my foundation is being an artist. I used to draw, sketch, paint, and all that stuff when I was a kid through my teens and in college. So I took my foundation of art and I let that translate into the toy photography. So that's a little bit about what I'm able to do. And I know it's hard to see in my shots where my lighting comes from, but if you look at any of on my account, my old BTSs that are there and anything you can find in the slides, you will see that's generally still what I use. I'm just evolving and finding different ways to play with the lighting. And there's just so many people in the community that also will help with that. And Scott Blind, once again, would just throw down some of the best behind the scenes possible and gives you a great idea where to put that lighting. Now, to answer your question about atmosphere, uh, I in the beginning wasn't using any devices to create that. I was just using, if there was a device, it was my phone. So something a lot of people don't know is I use my phone like for all of it, period. Everything I do, and I hope this doesn't be a killjoy for anybody, but everything I do is with my phone. I take
Mhm.
photos with the camera, but the entire post edit process is with my phone. And so
Yeah.
in the very beginning, my atmosphere was created with digital painting. I had to go in by hand and create the smoke. It was very challenging, but I did it. Figured out how to manipulate it because I used to play around doing digital paintings for a few years. So digital painting and drawing and sketching helped me learn how to manipulate the brushes and stuff and to create atmosphere. So all my original shots and anything with fog or smoke was all digitally painted by hand. I didn't have any stickers or a layer that was pre-created somewhere on an app. I literally just by hand spent hours playing with it. So that was a beginning. And for a little brief moment, I was using candle smoke. I would blow the smoke out, take a picture, that took a long time to figure out how to do. And a few months ago, I finally got a humidifier to breathe easier in the
Yeah.
dry state of Colorado. So the humidifier has become my atmosphere that I've been using in a lot of shots, and been challenging but very fun at the same time.
Wow. That's incredible, dude. Yeah, I use atmosphere aerosol. Scott Blind sent me a vape pen at one
Yeah.
point.
Oh,
Yeah,
gosh.
he got me into vape painting. No, but I went to the thing and I asked for one without nicotine or all that. I don't even know if they even gave me. Oh yeah, this one right here. It could have had crystal meth for all I know. And I kept using it. It actually worked really well actually. The vape pen, but then I got the atmosphere aerosol that I won on that contest a while back,
Oh
and
yeah.
I kept using those. So, well, I mean, I still have like 5 cans, I think. I mean, I take photography, but I don't like, you know what I mean? Like I try to, sometimes I don't use it, sometimes I do, but I try to stretch it as much as I can.
No, I,
It
I
works
totally.
wonders.
Yeah, it does great things. And, everyone that does use it, it's my hat's off to them because it is challenging, especially where your light direction is coming from, but especially the camera angle and the composition you're aiming for. It's not like you're just spraying the smoke and taking the shot. And there's a lot of big artists in the community that have been doing this for a while, and you can see what they do in their behind the scene videos that if you're trying to achieve some type of realism or cinematic accuracy or representation. Like you kind of have to know what you're doing, or at least pay attention to it. Then again, I'm sure a few cans through will kind of teach you how to spray it right into the shot you're trying to aim for, right?
Right. Yeah. So yeah, you gotta, it's a lot of hit and misses, man. But cause well, with me, I don't use a tripod, and I don't. So with that sense, I don't have the little app on my phone or that little connector to press the button to take the photos when I'm spraying. You know, like how it
Right,
would be really easy. I've seen how people do it so easy.
right.
I'm more of a hands-on kind of person, so when I'm taking the shot, I want to make sure that this is the shot that I want to take, and this is exactly how I want it. So in one hand, in my right hand, I have the camera, and in the left hand, I'm shaking the hand of the atmosphere aerosol, just spraying it, and I'm like, so trying to get the right photo, and then I step back, and then I'm like, okay, this one's good, this one's good, okay, this one sucks, and I delete it. So so that way I pick and choose. I have more control over it anyways. But yeah, man, it's a fun way to do photography, and always learning, always innovating. I love when I watch the behind the scenes, and I try to do behind the scenes, bro, but I suck at them too, man. I suck. I mean, I just I don't know, like I feel like, I don't know, I'm not comfortable, I guess. Maybe because that's just because we're at the beginning. Maybe if we keep trying, maybe we'll get better at it. But
So
I don't know.
one
Yeah.
thing yeah, I different. Everyone's got a style with their behind the scenes, and some people are creating their own niche and being very stylistic as far as how they're trying to present their work, even with the behind the scenes. Like the behind the scenes have become its own art, and it's pretty amazing. People adding music, adding cut scenes, and humor. It's really cool what they're doing. So it takes time for these behind the scenes, and people have different rhyme or reasons, their own methods, and how they're doing it. But for me personally, it's just been very difficult because I don't have much time in a day because I knew what I was getting into. I'm a dad who has a crazy work schedule. For me, God first, and then my family, and then my photography comes last. I got to get my priorities in check, and by that time of the day, I got anywhere between 5 to 10 minutes to nail a shot. And I'll get back to that later, but I've been struggling recently because I've been taking breaks away from the hobby, and that's just more of a personal growth thing and stuff that I've been doing. But yeah, the behind the scenes stuff, it is challenging, and you got to kind of dedicate some time to that, and you want to kind of be able to tell anyone that's following or viewing, like, hey, this is what I use, this is how I do it, and it's not impossible. You can do this. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, no, and actually, come to think of it, when trying to help people out as much as I can with it, is stories. I use a lot of my Instagram stories. So when let's say when I take a shot that I'm using a wire to hold a figure in a certain way, like in the air or whatever, then I show them, okay, so this is the photo, and then this is how it starts, the behind the scenes with the wire. I edit it. Oh, perfect. The Ahsoka shots that I took, I think it was last month. Remember the ones with all the troopers?
Yeah.
So those are edits, man. Like it took me a minute, but so that one I actually used my wife's tripod to take. I had to take the tripod. I had to use the tripod for this. So um, I only have two of those clone troopers. So I did one file first, and then after I took the photo, I took them and I kind of just moved them to kind of give it that gradual depth of, like, officers and clone troopers standing at attention. So I try to explain that to people. Hey, it's easy to do, guys. You just have to take time to do it. And so people are like, I don't really want to do all that. It's like, well, then go ahead and buy more figures. Then at the end of the day, we're collecting. At least for me, I'd rather do it that way, because that way I'm not spending all this money on all these extra figures that at the end of the day I might take 2 or 3 shots of them and then I'm not going to use anymore.
Oh yeah.
Um, yeah, so once you start collecting, for all the young guns listening to this, guys, the collection, it's a fun hobby, but it's gonna get really overwhelming really quickly, because you're gonna start branching out from one line to the other to the other. But anyways, that's the input on that. I just wanted to bring that up real quick. But yeah,
Well,
I try to help out with them on the stories. And funny enough, I do get people to DM me, hey, what app do you use? Like Pierre Ultra Pop.
yeah.
I met him through that. He hit me up about a shot that I did I think last year, sometime in September or something.
He's, he's amazing.
Yeah, he's a really good dude, man. I'm having some really good conversations with him. He's really freaking cool, dude. He's a really cool dude. And it sucks really what's going on with them in Texas, man. Shit. Prayers to the people in Texas, man. Huge shout outs. Stay strong, people. Hope you guys are good. Stay safe. Anyways, but yeah. So he hit me up,
Yeah,
and then that's how I met him. That's how I met him through that. He just hit me up. He's like, hey man, could you help me? He showed me how I did it, and then I kind of just went step by step, and I showed him how I hit the wire and all that, and we've had a really good relationship after that. So he's been hitting me up constantly. He's a pretty cool dude.
yeah, he's amazing, and I know he's tagged me on a few things, and I discovered his account. He followed me and liked a bunch of my stuff, and I was like checking, and I was like, well, this guy's amazing. Like I'll be the first one to admit that it's been really hard for me to keep up with how many people follow and tag me. And it's overwhelming, but and I appreciate, the gestures. It's just been really tough because I'm trying to keep up, and I got a life, and things been kind of personal for me lately. Like it's been a roller coaster too. I think for everybody it's been. And but as far as the community goes, there's like a new amazing artist every day that pops up in the community on Instagram.
Yeah,
It is
yeah.
getting very difficult to even keep track to know who's where and what, and getting tagged and multiple tags. And I welcome them. I'm not against them, but I feel like it should go without saying I have a life outside of Instagram, so I do my best to look into the tags, and it's always a reward when I have that time to scroll through and see who's tagged me or messaged, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is an amazing artist. I want to see more, so I follow him back, and it's amazing to see. And Ultrapop was one of those artists. I was like stunned. I was like, this guy does some incredible stuff, and I think his Transformer stuff has just been like, I never almost been tempted to go and buy Transformers more than watching Ultrapop do.
Right?
It's that guy is killing it, especially with the extreme sets dioramas he's using. I'm like, oh, you are selling me both on the dioramas and these figures. But yeah, I wanted to swing back a bit, and you mentioned about the different toy lines. I mean, you start off somewhere and you branch off. It seems to me you've got like uh, a top, what I would say, three toy lines you like to shoot.
Favorite toy lines? Oh man, I think you know what? It's so funny how what I was thinking of what I was shooting a lot more now is NECA. NECA, I'm not sponsoring them or nothing like that, but NECA's figures are really, really great, and they're fantastically detailed, and
Yeah,
they have a really good price point. For the
yeah,
price point, what you get is really good.
I agree.
And but if I were to be sincere, the funnest figures for me to shoot, I think they're gonna be Mescos, man. I don't know, something about Mescos. They just, you know what I mean? Like, dude, and it's so funny. I wasn't a fan of them. I wasn't. Every time I looked at Mesco, to me they look like Barbie dolls. Barbie dolls that you can dress up. They just, I don't know. They just looked really funny at the very beginning. I was like, what's such a hype on these figures, man? On these figures, like, why is it so? Why are they so popular? And then I got a hold of one, and I was like, all right, this ain't bad. My first Mesco was Judge Dredd with the motorcycle. So
Oh yeah,
as goofy as I thought he looked in that like light blue. I mean, I'm looking at him right now. He has that light blue kind of like police uniform thing. He looks kind of goofy, but then the
mhm,
badges on, and then all the armor, I know who Judge Dredd is, like movie
yeah,
wise again, the comic books and the
right,
movies.
right.
So now you're like, damn, this is a lot of potential here for some really good photos.
Oh yeah,
But
that's
yeah,
so like
that's it.
comic book accurate. I mean, it is comic book accurate the way that Mezco nailed that dread, and you're not alone. I think a lot of people love Mezco for that almost realism in the figure, like it looks like a little person, like they shrunk it. It's like,
Yeah.
and I agree with you in regards to liking Mezco a lot. I don't have a whole bunch of Mezco figures. I got like a handful, but the first one I ever got was the Ascending Knight Batman, the PX exclusive, which is the blue and gray uh,
Damn, sweet.
color one. That was the first one I got, and I was pleasantly shocked by how well it was made. My first one I bought was actually the black and gray, but it had a major defect. It was ripped in the costume, so I returned it back to the vendor and I ended up finding the exclusive one instead. And I was way happier with the exclusive one. And that's just my personal preference. I know everyone likes the different variations of Mezco Batman figures that come out, but for the Ascending Knight, something about the blue and gray just screams old school nostalgia, and I loved everything about it. And that was my first Mezco figure. And it's funny you mentioned also the Barbie look to it. I remember I didn't really know too much about Mezco figures until one day I remember just scrolling and seeing all the different Mezco figure shots, and some of them like the older ones I wasn't a huge fan of, but the newer ones they've been really killing it. And when I my second Mezco figure was the Justice League Tactical Suit Batman, the Batfleck. It
Ooh.
looks spot on. That was my second one, and that's one of my all-time favorite figures in general because it looks just like the movie. Like I didn't have to go and spend a bunch of money on a Hot Toys version. I got that for $79, and I'm like, I saved me hundreds of bucks, and it looks like what I want, and it's into scale with my collection. This is things amazing.
Yeah, yeah. No, the realism that the attention to detail that the Mezco figures are known for. Even the older ones, like Judge Red's got that old body mold. I mean, the attention to this guy, it's really great. It's fantastic. And one thing that I will say about Mezcos that really sold them on me is at least with me, in my personal opinion, I look at them and I'm like, all right, yeah, they look kind of funny, the clothes and all that. When you take photos of them, that's when everything just changes. You're like, God damn, this looks like a meanie person. This looks like a real person, like walking down the street. Like, I'm looking at Two Face and like, like this guy looks like a person that is walking down the street for real. Like because you
Yeah,
compare
yeah,
this guy with like
I
a
get it.
Marvel Legends. Yeah, you compare him with a Marvel Legends or something, and like the Marvel Legends got that like that. Well, now the photo face is good, but they got that like that. The face plastic, it's like shiny. Even Black Series
Right,
kind of has that too.
right.
So it really it kind of sticks out a lot in photography. But when you take photos of these Mezcos, like they're perfectly matted, like the skin looks like actual real skin. It,
Yeah,
it's uh it's
get that feel of texture that you don't get on the Marvel Legends figures or some of the Star Wars figures.
exactly, and that's why I feel like these. I mean, who can afford them? Great. Mezcos are expensive. That's something that people should know before they get into this line. And once you buy one, you're gonna want more. So
I would
save up that
suggest
money,
this.
boys.
Anybody looking into a Mezco should definitely shop in the community because some people are just trying to get rid of their collection to make space for more expensive stuff. And it's a great opportunity to get in on a Mezco secondhand for a decent price. Granted, some people are taking advantage of marking it up because that's the value. I'm 50-50 on that. I understand that you know something's worth, but that's what you believe it's worth. But if you know someone or you can network with someone and get something within your budget or means, by all means, you can't go wrong at least trying and getting your foot in the door with Mesco and what they have to offer because it's a great toy line.
Oh, definitely. Uh, it is a great toy line to get into. And I believe the same way you do as well. There's that 50-50 mark line where like I understand the business aspect of it, but then if you want to hook somebody else up with it, and why not? Like just whatever, man. This figure, it's like that scene, that quote from Iron Man 2. Don't get too attached to things. Learn to let go. You know what I mean? Like it's
Yeah.
I've always got that, that don't get too attached to things. Learn to let go. You know what I mean? Like, so I mean, it is what it is. Just help out the community. That's what it's all about.
I always love that dude's accent. At work, I'm always saying you'll lose.
I'll take this ring. I like this ring. I'll take it now.
I want my boy.
I love my boy. I'm here to take your son to the gulag.
Oh
And the
man.
Russians are gonna be like, what the hell's going on over there?
Hey, you know what? So, like, you mentioned Mezco, and you were mentioning about how that's pretty much, your favorite. You really like enjoying that, but you do like the NECA. I agree with you on that. You've seen me. I got a bunch of NECA stuff, and
Yeah, hell
I
yeah.
think the big struggle is like remembering that you got these things because there's so many of them that you buy and they end up in the box or the bin or the shelf, and you're like, what do I shoot now? And it's easy to get caught up in figure hypes. So that brings me to ask, do you have anything on pre-order or do you have any plans for new figures?
So pre-orders right now, so look, I branched out and I've bought a few sideshow collectible figures.
Ooh.
Technically, yeah, technically it's not something I really shoot, but I'm so intimidated, man. I have Commander Cody. I pre-ordered Captain Rex, so I don't know when that's gonna come out.
Wow.
Probably sometime this next year or something like. But that's where it starts because you buy one and then you want another one and but yeah, I'm sideshows is something that I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna get these two, and that I'm gonna really hold my nut and just not even, you know what I mean, not even go
Yeah,
all in on this because this is what it is. You start you
it's a
start
whole
low.
nother aspect.
Yeah, man, you start Marvel Legends, which is $20, and then you go, Black Series, and then you go up to SH Figure Arts, which is like around 50, $60. You go to Mayfex, well, actually, Mezco's 80, Storm Collectibles around that, and then you go to Mayfex, which is like 100, 130, and then what goes after that? What sideshows, I think. I mean, I don't know other line, but pre-orders, no, I'm not really keen on pre-ordering, man. Actually, now that you bring that up, Mythic Legions, I pre-ordered a few of those figures from the new wave that got pushed back because of COVID-19. So I'm still waiting on those. I've been waiting on those for like a year and a half already. So
Which new wave is that?
it's the Arthar wave. Arthar, it's such a weird, the Mythic Legions and their weird language.
Oh,
I don't know.
so
The Arthar.
I'm gonna be honest about that toy line. I mean, for one, they're incredible, incredible. In fact,
Oh yeah, yeah.
Scott, when we were just talking, and he shared some amazing images he took recently. Um, I was just shocked at what he did and how epic the photos were, but then him describing how amazing these figures are, and he was like, I hate that I waited so long to take pictures of these things because they're incredible. And I myself I had planned on buying one of their figures. And then I always get caught up on a Mesco or something else. And I'm just kind of like, I hate that I forget about Four Horsemen Studio stuff. They're just incredible. What I did put my foot down on though, and I'm anticipating and anxious for at least getting one figure out of their new line of the Cosmic Legions. When I saw the photo, that teaser with that spacesuit looking guy, I was already sold. I was already sold. It screamed 80s and space, and I was like, I'm there. If I can just get that figure that they teased, I'd be happy. And I know that's not the only epic figure they will release. But I told myself with the new Cosmic Legion, I love to pay more attention and then jump on that toy line because they're already doing amazing things what they have been doing. So the fact that they're branching out and going like above and beyond and literally in different worlds, it's got me so hyped to see what that stuff looks like.
Yeah, I mean, I'm already hearing your clock working, aliens, predators. You know what I mean? Like I'm already hearing it. At least with me, bro. Like when I buy these figures, I'm already thinking like ahead. How can I use this? What kind of figures can I match with this? So it's not really jumping the gun and buying something just because of a hype or just because or it's a popular figure or someone told you that's a great figure. But at least with me, I changed a lot of my collecting. Like I don't really want to collect for the heck of it anymore. Because I have a storage unit, bro. I have like 3 boxes full of just Marvel Legends and Black Series. They're just sitting there, bro. And they're just sitting there. Like, I mean, there's stuff that I want. There's Stormtroopers, like Minbin Troopers, and like all these hard to get figures.
Right.
But they're just there, man. It's just really sad to see all that. It's like, I think that Scott should bring back that Forgotten Figure Sunday. You know what I mean? And, you know what I mean? And that way, because when it comes to collaborations, I freaking love it, man. And then huge shout out to all the people that hit me up to collaborate with them. I mean, me and you, Nick, we've been part of so many collaborations together. Like like one, even like just maybe sometimes like we only do just like a one thing kind of thing. Remember the Fet Bros? We did that a couple times with those other guys, and You know, the Snake Eye Saturday squad. You got the NetherRealms Mortal Kombat dudes that I'm doing the Mortal Kombat collaboration with.
I saw that. That
You
was
got the
amazing.
Predator, you got the Yaocho Prime dudes, man. You gotta give shout out to
Yeah.
those. You know what I mean? Like, so the thing with that, man, it motivates me to keep shooting. That way, I'm not like, sitting in
Yeah.
water, just waiting, idling around. Like, what do I do now? And we need to create more. Scott Blind was really, really smart about all these things. Like, he came up with Snake Eye Saturday and also the Forgotten Figures Sunday, which I'm inclined to actually start doing now. So that way I go into my storage unit and pick up some of those figures that I'm not using anymore. And it's not like they're gonna be old figures. It's more like figures that I really neglected, and they're really great figures. But yeah, man, it's the collaboration to me is key. I feel like it's fun. It's a fun way to just reintroduce yourself to certain members of the community that you were not acquainted with before, and make new friends, and just step up the game in the photography. Because once you're in a challenge, then you kind of, it's not a competition, but you wanna get better. At least with me, every time I take a photo, I always try to get better at what I'm doing. Like, I don't want to try to make the same shot again. You know what I'm saying? I always
Oh,
try to just
absolutely.
up the level.
I will say this about collaborations. I agree with everything you just said. And my personal belief that I have learned over the 2 years or so that I've been doing this is that I've evolved every month, along the way. I've always found something within myself to say, okay, I can now stretch farther and do this. The next month, okay, I can stretch farther and try this. There's always something I discover. A big part of that is the collaborations that I have been part of. The collaborations have been, almost essential in my growth. And I mean, it's equally essential as the community itself because it's like a constant cycle of inspiration going around. It's like a perpetual cycle. We all get caught up in these super humble thank yous. No, man, you inspired me. I inspired you. It goes all the way around. But it's true. That's what it is. And when we lift each other up, we get to see real full potential in ourselves as artists and as friends in this community, as people. And those collaborations, they really give us the opportunity to see what we're made of. And it's amazing how much more we grow. You can see it in people's galleries. After they do that one collaboration, all of a sudden, boom, they discovered a new lighting technique, new force depth or perspective, some new lighting, some new a way they create composition, way they created a diorama because someone made their own diorama, someone made a kit bash of a custom figure, all because of a collaboration. And it's
Yeah.
one thing that resonates strong in this community that everyone's discovering is, we are actually lifting each other up when we do these collaborations. Now it takes a lot of time. We have to organize, we have to adapt to the schedule. We got people internationally from other countries that are hopping on these collaborations that are being humble and supportive. We got someone in charge of creating the collage of just one guy is doing the collage, getting all the high res photos together and making the collage. We got one guy that's keeping track of the roster, inviting people into the chat for the collaboration. I mean, there's a lot of moving pieces for these big collaborations. And I'll tell you what, man, that Keaton collab that I did recently was the biggest collaboration I was ever involved in and was the most extensive, but I have to say, up to this point, the most rewarding. Because I have to say, I don't think I had that much fun in a collaboration up until that point. And this is not to take away from any other collaboration I've been part of. I just feel like it was the next stage for me. Because before that, I had to personally say, for me, the Ninja Turtle collaboration I was a part of a while back, that was one of the most fun collaborations I've been part of because it helped me stretch and evolve my dynamic posing with my NECA figure turtles. A lot of people know NECA figures in general, you're afraid to the range of motion, it's going to snap this limb on something or it's going to crack or break. I've taken those turtles and stretched them to points where I had House of M, Matt, like, dude, how did you do that and did not break? I was like, man, I just said I'm gonna go for it. I'm gonna get the shot
Yeah.
to work. Those collaborations really test your metal and say, dude, what are you made of? but it also helps us lift each other up. And I kind of feel like that should be the essential goal of any community, but especially ours. We got people stepping in that have no idea what they're doing and they're brand new. And we got people that have been doing this for since whatever you want to qualify or classify as the very beginning. And from that range and in the middle, we should all be supporting each other and lifting each other up. And I feel like the collaboration is one of the best ways to do that. And then in the end, we're helping each other because we're sharing notes. We're part of in that whole chat. We're saying this is what we use. This is how we do this. This is we do that. Oh man, it looks amazing. People are gonna flip out. Oh, your looks better. Like it's just lifting each other up. So the whole experience of a collaboration is really top notch and essential, I think, in this hobby and in this community.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm with that 100%. And coming from a person that was never really at the beginning. It was just like maybe flying solo in a way, whether it was my doing or maybe just because I wasn't really out there as much. But it still feels good to get recognized. Like when you guys invited me over to the Snake Eye Saturday squad, I was like, oh wow, I think that was one of the. I know I made that group before, but it was just more like that group between us, Scott Blind, I think it was Matt Jessup, and Zizzer Xerxes, brother Steve. Remember that small group? We're just there, we're just shooting the dice. It wasn't really doing anything. We're just there chilling. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then Snake Eye Saturday was like that thing. Like, okay, we got to step our game up here. Like these guys are the heavy Snake Eyes GI Joe dudes here, so we really gotta make this work. And we're just taking tips and bits from each other. We're we're helping each other out and picking themes. Like, hey guys, we should do Punisher and Snake Eye Saturday this time, and we go for it. But it's always a fun treat to do that, man. And I've met so many people through that, like people that I would have probably not met. You go as far as you can on Toy Pop sessions and meet people and meet friends. But then I don't know. I feel like the Toy Pop sessions have kind of, I don't know, they've kind of dwindled. If that even makes sense. I don't know. Like, I just feel like the reaction in Toy Pop sessions isn't as big as it used to be. I just feel like it's kind of strange. I don't know.
Like I kind of feel like it's the unspoken thing that as grateful we all are for that account, it is extremely challenging to do the challenge, right? That's a challenge, right? A challenge is a challenge. The thing about those sessions is the time frame is a strain on a lot of people, and the same time of that is it's a strain to comment, to like and comment every single post in the session. That's part of the rules.
Yeah.
And
that's more impossible, bro. I think.
Well, it take to me, and so this has been my struggle personally lately. You'll hear a lot of artists, especially a lot of the people we look up to in the community, will say this: quality over quantity. And that I understand that. I understand now more than ever, especially long that I've this brief moment, which is like a blur in the history of toy photography. I've only been doing this 2 years, so it doesn't even count as a whole lot. But just in the 2 years, I think I've come to understand that a lot because I ran into this. I just hit the ground running. I didn't even research what I was doing. I just started taking pictures. My photography, the extent of my experience in taking pictures of anything was the car tuning community. I was in a car club in the Bay Area. I was big in the Mazda community, but I used to go to a lot of the car shows, and that's what got me into taking pictures in the first place. That's how I got my first camera, was from there. So that was the most extent I had at taking photos, and that just fell off way before I got into toy collecting. So I had nothing to really go on in the toy community except we've all been in that situation where we saw someone post that one thing that one time that looked amazing and say, hey, let me try that. So that was what it was for me. I figured, let me just run with this and see what I can do. And I started applying my digital painting for atmosphere and what I thought was cool lighting. And honestly, it was my son Andre that, like my name, it says in there, inspired by Andre. My son inspired me with the hard contrast colors. It was me taking a picture of one of my NECA dog aliens. It was the arcade edition. It's got this matte two-tone finish paint job to it. And my son grabbed my phone that had the orange light on it. He's like, Dad, hold on, watch this. And he held it over the alien while I had the white light underneath the alien. And all of a sudden I was like, what is this? I didn't tell my son that. I paused. Andre goes, Dad, what do you think? I said, Andre, this is amazing. This is genius, man. Thank you. That's a great idea. I said, hold the phone there. So I had him hold it there and I was just taking shots. I was like, this is great. And that was because I was trying to achieve that look by watching Guillermo del Toro films, the way he creates contrast, warm, and cools, and Blade 2 and Pan's Labyrinth, and what he did in Pacific Rim. You can see the hard contrast, warm, and tones he creates. And so that was my inspiration in the lighting I was trying to achieve. And my son was the one that showed me how to do it.
Yeah.
So, like it was just kind of crazy how that turned out. And, I didn't even think that would have happened, but it just stumbled in that way because my son just kind of stepped in and said, let me try this out. Like it was such a great experimental experience. I didn't think that was going to happen.
It's sometimes things, the most beautiful things happen by accident in a way. I mean, you can say that this thing with your son, this beautiful incident with your son, happened by not by accident or just kind of like slight by choice kind of thing. You know what I'm trying to say? Like it's like things that you didn't think about that you see other people or like like your son teaching you in that moment, like, hey, you need to try this other different way of lighting technique. And I remember that shot now. I know what you're talking about. That shot came out really freaking nice, bro. And
Thank you. And that whole atmosphere was digitally painted in.
yeah. So I mean, dude, and like I said, I would have never imagined that you were doing that. That you were digitally, painting in all these images and all these like background, like stuff that makes the photo stand out more. Like I said before, I thought you were actually doing atmosphere aerosol,
So
So
and that's the thing. Like I learned that along the way, and
yeah.
I do feel like the toy photo sessions are trying to do this for the community. But what adds to this pressure and does take the enjoyment and fun out of it is let me try and like and comment as many photos as I can in an hour. That is difficult to do if you have a life. I'm just gonna be flat
Oh
out. We
yeah, yeah,
we have to accept this that this is part of the challenge, right? So we should be time managing, and prioritizing. So we all do get caught up and say, well, I can do the challenge even though I'm cooking dinner, doing laundry with my kid, with my wife, we're doing my job, I'm working the late shift, I'm working the night shift, or I'm doing swing shift. We're all trying to scramble something around because we want to really devote time into this hobby that we enjoy. So when you do a session, you actually don't think about that. And you're like, man, I want to enjoy posting this, appreciating it, and then gradually liking and sharing and posting and commenting other people's stuff. You don't think about that, how fast an hour goes when all you're doing is hitting the like button and commenting. And then it
yeah,
just kind of takes the thunder out of the experience. But the real experience to me is just enjoying it, the what you're doing, the hobby itself. And that's what becomes very challenging with these sessions. Again, I appreciate everyone who creates a session. And KJ created his own, and that was
oh
one of
yeah,
the things he
yeah,
addressed. He kind of addressed that, like he was like, man, forget that there's an hour time frame, or forget that it's an old shot. If you want to reuse this tag multiple times, go for it. And it was comical, but I loved it because it was someone stepping out in the community and basically saying how we all felt. Like I think it's hard to meet this demand for something we're supposed to enjoy and have fun. So the sessions have become a way for people to kind of get around it and just get that reach, get that notoriety, get that attention, get those followers and get those likes, which we all are gotten into this at one point and said we're doing it for the likes or we're trying to grow our account. Now, I mean, how else are you supposed to do that, right? You got to gain interest. Well, these hashtags help with these sessions, but it does
yeah,
start to take fun out of it. And you ask yourself, man, did I really take time to take this picture because I enjoyed it? Or did I hurry up and posted it to meet a deadline for a session and what, just for the likes? It really
yeah.
takes fun out of the experience. And I think it's one of those things that becomes negative, which brings me to want to ask you, what do you do to stay positive or just to stay healthy while you're living life right now and enjoying this hobby? Like, what do you do for yourself to stay positive and healthy, or either or?
Oh man, well, people that like you already know this, but like people that don't know much about me, I I am a father. I have two beautiful baby girls that I take care of when I'm not working. I do live in California, which it's kind of hard to live here. You moved out of here because of that reason, and I'm kind of inquiring to do the same because I just don't really like how it's going on right now. Um, so I have two jobs, and whenever I do get a chance, I take care of my family, and then I take my photos. And it just you really to have a tough skin to manage all of this. You know, finding time for everything. There's times, man, where I just want to just not even do anything because that's how stressful or just life is, or just tired. It's exhausting. It is exhausting.
I understand.
Like today, so I don't know if you knew this, but I'm trying to start up my own little automotive detailing company. So when I get customers,
That's
they call
great.
me and I have to go. You know what I mean? Like, so I know we had this thing going on for today, and then I had a customer that was calling me, hey, can you come this Saturday? And I'm like, oh, yes. You know what I mean? So I'm trying to rush up on out of there so I come over here and do this thing with you and everything. But it's you just running. And you have to be happy, man. You have to stay positive because your kids see this, your wife sees
Yeah,
this, your family sees this, and my biggest motivations to keep going forward. Hopefully things turn out fine
right.
for us next near future, and uh and yeah, man, hopefully we can get ourselves a nice place somewhere, and hopefully some of our problems can go away, man.
So yeah, I mean, and I think we can all agree that our family does provide that positive motivation to help us stay healthy, both mentally and physically. And we all are trying to find that thing, right? Whatever it is that helps us find that happy place and or how we may stay healthy. I mean, bro, I don't think you have an issue staying healthy considering you're working two jobs and have two kids. So you have
Yeah.
burning plenty of calories and do what you can. And I know D Amazing says drink plenty of water. I know you drinking plenty of water. So
Right, yeah. Drink your water later.
drink your water, right? I love how he uses that. It's so true. Like I just did a 21-day fast and it was one of the hardest things I ever did in my life. I didn't think it was be that big of a deal, but it wasn't just because of my faith, but I want to live old enough to see my son graduate high school.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
being morbidly obese, I was at 287 pounds before the fast, and it sucked because I was dealing with constant back pain issues, and I can feel the wear in my joints, and because I have a demanding job, I have a warehouse job now, and it started as a hybrid warehouse slash driver job. I did that for about 11 years straight. Started in San Antonio, then moved to the Bay Area, and it's the same company, and I was out there and. I was a warehouse guy that did lots of day entry, but then, I had to do pickup and deliveries almost every day. And sometimes it was anywhere between 6 to 12 stops a day all over the bay. And sometimes it was just crazy. And I had to get right back to my job in the warehouse as I got back with my deliveries. I had to start cracking boxes open or getting stuff boxed up for FedEx, UPS. So it was very demanding to do all that stuff. And then I got here to Cali and I became mainly a warehouse guy, but I fill in to do deliveries only when the guy's out of the office for personal things or medical leave or whatever he called in sick or something. So I'm mainly warehouse guy now, but I do even more warehouse duties now than before because it's my primary duty. So I find myself just dealing with a lot of issues and my body was just letting me know, dude, you gotta live healthier. You're making poor choices. So I did 21-day fast mainly for my faith to just really strengthen my faith where I'm at and to really provide for my family and just love people. I mean, there's so much hate in this world and so much division and this cancel culture stuff is really stupid and getting disgusting and it's just nonsense and it's something I was really thinking about before I started the fast. I said, you know what? If I can just be that light and just help people be positive, there's just so much more. We should be lifting each other up, not breaking each other down. And I figured, well, I have to build myself up too. I gotta fix myself. So I did this 21-day fast and I went from 287 pounds and now I'm down to 267. And I magically lost 20 pounds and just dedicating myself to just eating right. And it was hard, but I took all meat and cheese and sugar and coffee and anything mind altering, I literally just removed from my life for 21 days straight, and it was it was almost like a beautiful disaster. Like I had moments where I was so frustrated and trying to wean off so many things and these dependencies, but at the same time, I was seeing clearer because I wasn't dependent on these things. I had more energy I do now, and I just feel so much better about myself. So I'm trying to continue as much of what I learned from the fast, especially diet wise for me. And I just want it to eventually translate to the hobby as well. And whatever I can do to stay positive, that's kind of my little piece of the pie that I'm doing for my family, for my life, and even for the community. And even this podcast, I'm new to this, and I welcome any feedback on it. And it's just an opportunity to just keep sharing the community, just kind of paying it forward so everyone can to know that we're real people. There's people behind the lens. And it's like we say with Toy Photocast, we are storytellers, and you can tell by our artwork what we're doing and how we're making these captions and just who we are. And it's a great opportunity to do this, and then speaking with you on this stuff, and it all comes down to trying to find that positivity, right? And I think what we're doing here and you talking about it and kind of just touching on that point of what family means to us, we can all be one big family and make this work.
Yeah, dude. First of all, I want to congratulate you on that step, man. Because
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
yeah, it's tough, man. It's so easy to gain weight, but it's freaking tough to lose it. Tough, man. Like I'm 160 pounds. I've been around that since high school, but being with like my wife, she's always been conscious about it. So she's always like, like, oh my God, I worked out for like 5 months and I feel like I haven't lost anything. You know what I mean? So, but it's like that's how she feels. Work out, but you fasted. You went that route. 'Cause I told her you have to do something like that. Her fasting really helps, but
Yeah.
it's also very debilitating. There you go. It's very debilitating, because then you start like you have to be mentally strong, physically capable to do it because you still have to work, you still have to do things. But
Yeah.
I wanna applaud that, man. That effort you put in, man, don't lose it. Because just because the fasting is over doesn't mean that you should stop. You know what I mean? Like I'm not telling you to stop to keep fasting. I'm not saying that, but now start choosing what to eat, start being healthier. Something that I really took not for granted, but I'm really thinking about it now. When me and my wife got COVID-19,
Yeah.
it really kind of hit me. It hit me in a way where I'm like, man, like I really I really should start eating healthier. Like I mean, I eat healthy, but then I am also working out a lot, like working outside, and so I can't take food with me all the time, so I'm eating junk food. I'm stopping by McDonald's or whatever, and you start feeling your body telling you like a little hints like, hey, maybe you should stop eating this for a while. You know what I mean? Like you have to listen to your body sometimes. And yeah, I've been eating a lot better now, eating a lot more things that I wasn't really eating as much anymore, like veggies and stuff. Me and veggies were enemies, but now I'm just swallowing it. Hello. Now I'm just swallowing it just for the heck of it. But yeah,
Yeah.
man,
Sometimes you gotta
you
push
gotta
forward
keep
to do what
healthy.
you gotta.
Yeah.
So I mean, with that being said, and being on this positive move forward, what does the future hold for you, man? And what are your plans, especially with this hobby or outside the hobby? I mean, what are some goals you have set for yourself?
Uh, so I don't know, man. I've sorry. I've asked myself the same question. What is next for me? What is next for Scruffy? When am I gonna stop taking photos? I'm enjoying the hobby so much. I don't really see myself stopping anytime soon. Maybe we'll take breaks here and there because, like we were discussing about the toy pop sessions and the demand to take photos and post them at a certain time, and you know, it does get to you, and it does get to you, and it stresses you out a bit. So sometimes you just gotta just leave Instagram completely for a little bit. I'm assuming that's why you kind of haven't been posting in a while too. I assume, right? Um,
Yeah, you hit that on the head, bah, you hit the nail on the head with that one. It's I guess it's quite my word just slurring. It's um I mean, just to be as transparent as I can be, I think I got a little burnt out unintentionally. That Keaton collab took a lot out of me, and I didn't even expect it to. But I had took a 2 week break prior to that collaboration, and prior to that, I also had COVID, and so
Yeah.
that kind of threw me off my game. And then I got back into it. I remember I was gone for like 2 weeks off that, and then I came back. I took a break again, and I came back. But I guess the breaks had taught me that I think I was grinding too hard. I mean, if anyone sees my account and how many posts I have, they'll know like I've been doing this. I mean, there was times I was posting 2, 3 times a day, and I was
Yeah.
just grinding hard and teaching myself everything. And it's something that it wasn't like I took pride in. I just loved diving in and learning it all on my own. I know there's tutorials. I know there's thousands of artists that have these BTSs, but it's the artist in me from the day one thing. I love just teaching myself my craft and learning from it. And that's all I've been doing is just teaching myself how to do it and then being inspired by the images I see in the community. And a lot of that had left with the when I got sick and then taking breaks. So when I did the last Keen collab, it didn't break me, but it took a lot out of me. I did, I had to spend a lot of time dedicated to getting everyone's photos together, creating the collage, and then communication. I mean, I was doing it while I was at work, doing stuff at home. I was getting that stuff together, and it was fun though. Like I was motivated about it, and that shot took 4 hours straight to dial in.
Wow.
I never so my average shot takes anywhere from 5 minutes to 15 minutes, and that's it. And I edit it, and I had to do that because of my lifestyle. But because I was already taking breaks and I was slowly pulling away from the Saturday snake eye shots from sessions, I said, if I've been taking any shots, I can dedicate a lot of time to one quality
Yeah.
over quantity. I was telling myself. So I spent 4 hours to nail in that Keaton shot, and I was thoroughly happy with it. I said, I don't think I've ever done anything like this, and all said and done, I told myself this is the last shot I ever do. I'm happy. I'll go out with a bang like this, and that's what I did. And I walked away, and I'm like, it's been amazing because I'm now creating all these ideas of new shots I want to do. I'm getting the opportunity to do this podcast interview with you. I'm spending more time with my family. So much fruit has been grown from the seeds planted of the process. And that's what spiritually I live, planting seeds of love and appreciation in people, and that fruit grows and it pays on forward to other people. Well, that's transitioned now into my art as well. So I'm sitting back, taking time. I'm recuperating from life. I'm enjoying the healthy lifestyle. I'm also enjoying this talk with you and the future episodes that I'm gonna get to host and have more opportunities to grow. So I'm now gonna be coming back from a different aspect and perspective to where it's not just enjoying it, but I want to really start providing something to the community so we all can benefit from. I want us all to win. I want us all to grow. I want us all to enjoy this.
Yeah. No, and that shot, it took you 4 hours, man. I honestly, it's one of my favorite shots you've ever taken. That shot is freaking sick, dude. I love the color that you chose. It's like a reddish orangey color, right? Like the
Yeah,
haze. That it's freaking crazy, man.
thank
And
you.
it just like it's just goes without saying. You're one of my favorite toy photographers. So whenever I log in, I just kind of like, I'm always looking. If I don't see anything new, on my feed, I'm like, oh, let me go check what these fools have been up to. Like it's recently checked on Scott Blind, and he hasn't posted in about a week or 2 weeks, so I don't know what's going on with him. Hope he's all right. Um, and then I check you out, and it's the same thing. I'm like, hey, maybe, you know what I mean? So I'm like, all right, well, we're in constant communication, so I know he's cool, So, but I was like, then you think like maybe the burnout too, because this hobby does burn you out, man. It does.
Yeah, and
It
but
does,
like
and
you're essential. You're essential to this hobby because again, that's why you're the first one that in my opportunity here to host, to be a guest host. Like I remember what you did for me from day one. I remember your colors. I'll forever remember your inspiration for me and 80s Tech Noir neon lighting. And it's helped me adapt and grow. And we always have that artist that we look up to, or that's been essential in our growth. And you and Scott have done so much for me since day one. It's insane. It's insane. But yeah, Scott's like my brother from another mother, man. That guy's done a lot for me, and you've done a lot for me in my growth. And it's just been such a great opportunity to hear you touch on some of that stuff. And I'd love to talk more to you, man. And maybe there'll be some time down the road we can go dive more deeper into what makes you you and your style. And um, I feel like we've talked through about so many different things, and there's so much stuff we touched on, but I know there's always opportunity to talk about more. And I really do think that this is one of those things that I'm always going to hold and dear to my heart, this opportunity to talk to you, because I'm connecting not just a picture of you and your voice, but a person. And I hope one day we get to meet when this stupid COVID nonsense is over, and we can just, go meet up and have a barbecue and bring our toys and cameras out and just do what we like to do.
And dude, that would be amazing. That would be so incredible. This was just talks. I remember we used to talk about this on the group chat, renting a cabin somewhere in the. Remember we were talking about renting a cabin somewhere in the middle of the country, so
Yeah,
we can all just meet in the middle. And
yeah, yeah.
it seemed like everybody was kind of down for it, like, all right, this sounded like it started like a joke, but then we're like, hey, you know what? This sounds like a really good idea. Just bring your
Yo,
favorite figure, bring your camera, and let's do this.
I'm already in the middle. I'm Colorado, so y'all can definitely
Yeah,
come here.
yeah. I
I
guess
just,
you're gonna
prep
be
you
an
guys.
R&B. You're gonna be an R&B. So, but
I'll
dude,
find a
yeah,
spot.
yeah, it'd be nice, man. I was really looking forward to going to Star Wars Celebration with my wife, and I was already like hitting up people that go there to that, like, so I was like, hey, hope we meet there, man. Like, I remember that there was a big, I think, my nerdy obsession, if I'm not mistaken, well, no, it was Austin Visual Force. He was the one that posted a picture with like all these photographers. Rhodey was there.
Oh yes,
Tim.
I remember that.
Yeah. Remember that? So I was like, dude, it'd be so cool to go to Anaheim and meet these people because, well, Rhodey's from Vegas, I think, but it would be cool to meet all these people there. Like, I mean, just take one of my Stormtrooper helmets and have people like sign it, and keep it somewhere. It'd be pretty cool. Like I said, it'll be just meeting people in that regard would be nice, but also we're friends. We're not just like fans of each other, so it would be really cool to like have a weekend for all of us to just hang out, have a few beers, go out in the wilderness somewhere, take some photos or whatever. Just bring our props, bring our dioramas, and just, you know what I mean? Like, that would be such an amazing, and great idea, great thing to do for all of us. But hopefully, I don't know, man. This COVID-19 thing, I think it's gonna be here for a minute, bro. It kind of sucks, but I don't know. We'll see.
I'm,
Hopefully,
I'm
pray
hopeful.
for the
I'm
best, man.
hopeful. I'm hopeful,
Yeah,
and I have
stay positive.
faith. And well, and one of the goals that I haven't had a chance to talk to Dakota about this, but in my fasting and thinking about, what we have as a community, like, I think a great thing, if the opportunity presented itself, is just the Toy Photocast just hosting an event, a live podcast, but out somewhere where everyone taking photos of their toys and just briefly talking to each artist and just being involved there, and having that opportunity to be outside somewhere, enjoying everyone's unique process to it all. And just a live podcast outside doing what we love. And I would love the Toy Photocast to host something like that one day. And once all this stuff's over and done with, it'd be a great celebration. There's just good food, good talks, and good memories.
That'd be dope, man. Fly me in. I'll go to Colorado.
So,
Yeah.
you know, um, I just want to thank you for this, man. I want to thank you for this opportunity, and I wanted to ask you if you had any shout outs or anything you'd like to say to existing or new artists that are just coming into the community. I mean, anything you'd like to share, any words of wisdom, please go ahead.
All right. I really have nothing to say. Bye. I'm just playing. No. No, guys. Just be kind to each other. That's all I'm gonna say. We live in a very difficult time in our lives. I've never experienced the type of living that we're living in now. It's just funny, people getting canceled and and it's bleeding into a toy community. I get the fact that you have freedom of speech and to say what you want. That's fine. I get that. I totally respect it. I'm an American. I respect the Constitution. But at the same time, guys, we need to show compassion for each other. Don't prosecute people for whatever their opinions are or what they believe in. Because then it just becomes a witch hunt, and it's a this toy community is an escape from reality, from things that are happening in our worlds that we're trying just to evade. I'm trying to come to the toy community to see some photos, to see some badass photography from the photographers out here, from my friends, from people that I admire and that I wish nothing but the best on. And then it's just really sad to see that all these other things are happening. And my word is this, guys: just be more inclusive, be more respectful to each other, because at the end of the day, we're all here because of one thing: photography. We're toy photographers. We're all pulling the same team. So it's something that we all got to learn, and just to kind of like just leave the stuff to the side, be more inclusive. um share love and share friendships with people, especially with the young people coming up. We had this discussion earlier, me and Nick, about the underdogs, and I really want to thank Nick for inviting me over to my first ever podcast. Woo!
Heck
So it's
yeah, well
it's a it's
deserved,
a
man.
it's yeah it's a tremendous experience, tremendous honor to be to be featured here, to be noticed, and all the acolytes and all the things that people shared about me, and Nick, all the things that you've said about me, man. I really appreciate you. You've been inspiration as much as I've been inspiration to you. To everyone, guys, reach out to people. Don't be afraid. Talk to people. Don't feel left out. If you guys are young and starting this thing up, there's friends here. There's friendly people here that you can meet. Don't feel like everyone is like, oh, all these big accounts they're not really into like the little ones or whatever. But yeah, stay easy, have fun. Very important to have fun in toy photography. Do what you feel is happiness for you. What you feel is something that you consider like, this is my strong suit. This is what I love to do. Don't be afraid to try different things if you feel like you want to branch out, because there's always a learning experience from all that. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Hope you guys are having a blast with this episode, and yeah, hope to be here soon again.
Thank you, man. That was amazing, and thank you again for your time. Thank you for just giving that little piece of who you are and what it is, and the art that you present to this community. People want to get a hold of you, man, or get in contact. Where can they reach you?
You guys can reach me at 510. I'm just playing. No, no. You guys can reach me at Scruffy Looking Photos. That's at Scruffy Looking Photos. I'm not gonna spell it because it's hella long, and I'm not really good at spelling. I barely graduated high school. So but yeah, reach out to me, guys. DM me. Hit me up. You know what I mean? I'm very friendly, very outgoing, just like Nick is, just like all these other guys that we've mentioned. There's a really great toy community of friends and people that you can meet that are really down to earth and shit. So I consider myself one of those guys. Sometimes you gotta pat yourself on the back. You know what I mean? Just so that way, so that way people can reach out to you in a friendlier way. Anyways, guys, that's me. Scruffy Looking Photos, Luis Chavez. You know where to find me.
Word, man. And you can find me at inspired by Andre. Again, that's at inspired by Andre. Thank you guys for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and look forward to more in the future. Later, guys.
Peace.